Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपीकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे राधेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय। बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्णा अजय।
हरे कृष्ण गजेंद्र जी।
भाई क्या हो रहा?
बस कुछ खास नहीं।
ठीक है, दिन चल रहा। वगैरह नहीं क्या लगता है। शुरू करते हैं अपन। तो कल अपन लोग 41 श्लोक पढ़ रहे थे और this is Prachetas stuti to Lord Vishnu, right? They are glorifying Vishnu Bhagwan, our Lord Purushottam. And I think we read the 40th श्लोक yesterday, so we'll start from 41st. तो यहाँ से read करते हैं अजय।
मनः स्वयं भूर्भगवान् भवश्च ये अन्ये तपो ज्ञान विशुद्ध सत्वाः अदृष्टपारा अपि यन्महिम्नः स्तुवन्तथो त्वास्मसमं गृणीमः. Dear Lord, even great yogis and mystics who are very much advanced by virtue of austerities and knowledge, and who have completely situated themselves in pure existence, as well as great personalities like Manu, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, cannot fully understand your glories and potencies. Nonetheless, they have offered their prayers according to their own capacities. In the same way, we, although much lower than these personalities, also offer our prayers according to our own capability. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Prachetas are saying this, right? What are they saying is that the great personalities like Manu, yeah, and who is the first Manu, right? The Shambhu Manu, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Right? Shambhu Manu is the first Manu in this particular day of Brahma. Hare Krishna Tarun.
Hare Krishna Gajan.
Shambhu Manu is the first Manu, right? Of course, son of Lord Brahma. And it says your personalities like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, right? So Bhava is Lord Shiva, yeah? And Lord Brahma, they cannot fully understand your glories and potencies, right? As we saw that in Lord Brahma's stuti in Brahma Sahita. Similarly, we saw how Lord Shiva gave the stuti to Prachetas themselves, right? But what he's saying is, nonetheless, they have offered their prayers according to their own capacities. So even though they are highly advanced, right, and much, much higher than where we are, and this is what Prachetas are saying. And Prachetas, who did tapasya for 10,000 years, under sea water, every day Lord Purushottam stuti, they are saying that we are so much lower than, of course, Shambhu Manu and Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, of course, right? And So think about where we are, right? But what Prachetas are saying, even though we are much lower than them, we also offer our prayers according to our own capability. And that is what is important. Like based on our own capability, we offer our prayers to Lord Krishna, Lord Purushottam, and then Patram Pushpam Phalam, Lord Krishna accepts that based on our capability. Yeah, very interesting. Tarun?
Namam samaya shuddhaya purushaya paraya cha vasudevaya satyavaya tumbhasya bhagavate namaha. Dear Lord, you have no enemies or friends, therefore you are equal to everyone. You cannot be contaminated by sinful activities, and your transcendental form is always beyond the material creation. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead because you remain everywhere within all existence. You are consequently known as Vasudeva. We offer you our respectful obeisances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Prachetas continue to do glorification of Lord Purushottam, and they are saying you are equal to everyone. Yeah, Samaya. And then you are Shuddhai, means you cannot be contaminated by anything. Your Purushaya Paraicha, your transcendental form is beyond the material creation. Yeah. And then you remain everywhere within all existence. Vasudevaya. Yeah. And so we offer you our respectful obeisances. And again, this is a nice purport. So let's read this, Ajay.
Sure. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Vasudeva because he lives everywhere. The word Vas means to live. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Eko Pya Pai Asau Rakayetu Jagad And Kotim. The Lord, through his plenary portions, enters into each and every universe to create the material manifestation. He also enters into each and every heart in all living entities and into each and every atom also. Paramanu Kayantra Stham. Because the Supreme Lord lives everywhere, he is known as Vasudeva. Although he lives everywhere and within the material world, he is not contaminated by the modes of nature. The Lord is therefore described in Upanishad as Apap Vidham. He is never contaminated by the modes of material nature. When the Lord descends into the planet, he acts in many ways. He kills demons and performs acts not sanctioned by the Vedic principles. That is, acts considered sinful. Even though he acts in such a way, he is never contaminated by his action. He is therefore described herein as Suddha, meaning always free from contamination. The word is also Sama, equal to everyone. In this regard, he states in Bhagavad Gita 9.29, Samo ham sarva bhuteshu name deveshu sti na priya. The Lord has no one as his friend or enemy, and he is equal to everyone. The word Sattavya indicates that the form of the Lord is not material. It is Satchitanand Vigraha, Ishvara Paramaha, Krishna Satchitanand Vigraha. His body is different from our material bodies. One should not link that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has a material body like ours. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So again, the Lord is described in Isha Upanishad. Like Isha Upanishad is one of the important Upanishads. We have many Upanishads. Isha Upanishad is one. He is also described as Apap Vidham. Right? He is never contaminated by the modes of material nature, even though everything originates from him. Yeah. Maitravacha iti prachetobhiribhistuto hari hai pritaste tya hai saranya vatsal hai anichchatam yanam mritatta yayo swadhamana pavarga virya hai. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidur, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the protector of surrendered souls, being thus addressed by the Prachetas and worshipped by them, replied, may whatever you have prayed for be fulfilled. After saying this, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose prowess is never defeated, left. The Prachetas were unwilling to be separated from him because they had not seen him to their full satisfaction. Yeah. But so Lord Purushottam, after Prachetas do the stuti, he goes back to his abode and he says, may whatever you have prayed be fulfilled. And what did they pray for? Like in all these stutis, do you know what did they pray for? So when Lord Purushottam or Vishnu asked them like what benediction they want, what did they ask for? Do you remember? Right? So they asked for that we, irrespective of, like Lord gave them a benediction that you will be living for whatever number of some million years, right? I mean, thousands of years of celestial years, right? Devata celestial years. And they said, and then you will come back to me. But that many years, yeah, you will have all kind of Aishwarya. But then what Prachetas were asking is, irrespective of whatever planets you live in, we always associate with your devotees. We always engage in your devotional service, is what Prachetas were asking to Lord Purushottam, right? And Lord Purushottam replied, may whatever you have prayed be fulfilled. Yeah, and then Supreme Lord goes back. Hare Krishna, Sachin.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Atha niryaaya salilat prachetas udvantah viksha kupendrumesh channam gam rodhumi vruchriteyah. Excuse me. Thereafter, all the Prachetas emerged from the waters of the sea. They then saw that all the trees on the land had grown very tall, as if to obstruct the path to the heavenly planets. These trees had covered the entire surface of the world. At this time, the Prachetas became very angry. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so far they are still under the water, yeah, under the waters of the sea, where Lord Vishnu gives them darshan, right? Then afterwards they come out of water, yeah. Because also, if you remember, King Prachin Bhavishat hands over the kingdom to Prachetas, and then he had also already left for tapasya, and then he also went back to Godhead. Yeah. So now they come out and they see like it's all full of trees, and they didn't see anything else, so they became angry. Yeah, Tarun.
Tathogni maruto rajan amunkan muchato rusha mahi nirviruddham kartu samkartarka ivatayaye. My dear king, at the time of devastation, Lord Shiva emits fire and air from his mouth out of anger. To make the surface of the earth completely treeless, the Prachetas also emitted fire and air from their mouths. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So when Prachetas comes out, they see like trees all over the place, right? Totally full of tree, and they start emitting fire and air from their mouth. Okay.
Bhasma Satkriya Maran Stan Druman Vikshya Pitamaha Agata Shamyamasa Putran Bahishmato Naya. After seeing all the trees on the surface of the earth, were being turned to ashes, Lord Brahma immediately came to the sons of King Bahirsman and pacified them with words of logic. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So when they're doing this, so Lord Brahma comes and then he advises them. So tatra vashishtaye vriksha bhita duhitaram tada ujjahostre prachetobhye upadishtaha shambhuva. The remaining trees, being very much afraid of the Prachetas, immediately delivered their daughter at the advice of Lord Brahma. So if you remember, right, the story, Rishi Kundu and Premlocha Apsara, right, they had a daughter, and then Lord Vishnu had told Prachetas to get married to the daughter, right? And so, and they, when they came out, they didn't find that. But then the trees, being afraid of Prachetas, they delivered their daughter at the advice of Lord Brahma. Yeah. Actually, I think this purport will remind you of the story. Let's read this, Tarun.
The daughter of the trees is referred to in text 13 of this chapter. This daughter was born of Kandu and Pramloka. The society girl Pramloka, after giving birth to a child, immediately left for the heavenly kingdom. While the child was crying, the king of the moon took compassion upon her and saved her by putting his finger into her mouth. The child was cared for by the trees, and when she grew up, by the order of Lord Brahma, she was delivered to the Prachetas as their wife. The name of the girl was Marisa, as the next verse will explain. It was a predominating deity of the trees that delivered the daughter. In this connection, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada states, Vaksha tad adhistara devata. The trees means the controlling deity of those trees. In Vedic literatures, we find that there is a controlling deity of the water. Similarly, there is a controlling deity of the trees. The Prachetas were engaged in burning all the trees to ashes, and they consider the trees their enemies. To pacify the Prachetas, the predominating deity of the trees, under the advice of Lord Brahma, delivered the daughter Marisa. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so trees also have a devata, right? Like we have Bhudevi for the earth, right? Like we have devata for controlling deity of the water, right? Do you know who's the controlling deity of the water? Who is the Jal Devata? Right? So Varun, Lord Varun is the Jal Devata. Yeah. So Lord Varun, so like that we have the controlling deity for everything, for the air, Vayu, right? Of course, Agni Dev is there. So similarly, there is a controlling deity of the trees. Yeah. And the controlling deity delivered the daughter to, and daughter's name was Marisa to Prachetas. Yeah. Ajay?
Te cha Brahman adeshan marish mupaye mire yasyam mahadav jnana jan yunijah. Following the order of Lord Brahma, all the Prachetas accepted the girl as their wife. From the womb of this girl, the son of Lord Brahma named Daksh took birth. Daksh had to take birth from the womb of Marisa due to his disobeying and disrespecting Lord Mahadev, Shiva. Consequently, he had to give up his body twice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what happens is to Prachetas, yeah, they get a son named Daksh, King Daksh. If you remember the Raja Daksh story, yeah, and how Lord Shiva was upset, and then so then Daksh, and then he does tapasya. It says that for like 5 Manu's generations or something, and then he again takes birth to Prachetas. Okay, that's what is being mentioned. Okay. Sachin?
चक्षुषे त्वनन्तरे प्राप्ते प्राक्सर्गे कालविद्रुते यः ससर्ज प्रजा इष्टः स दक्षो दैवे चोदितः. His previous body had been destroyed, but he, the name Daksha, inspired by the supreme will, created all desired living entities in Chakshusha Manvantara. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Chakshush Manvantara. So Chakshush is also one of the Manus. Yeah. So we started with the Shambhu Manu in this day of Lord Brahma, one day. Because how big is one day of Lord Brahma?
365 billion years.
Yeah, 4 billion, 32 million, remember? So one day of Lord Brahma is 4 billion, 32 million years. Same is also his night, 4 billion, 32 million. So it's 8 billion, 64 million years. Yeah, that's one day of Lord Brahma. And then in one day of Lord Brahma, if you remember how many Manus takes place, how many Manus come in one day of Lord Brahma? There are 71 Manus comes in one day of Lord Brahma. 71, 14 Manus, not 71. So 14 Manus take birth in one day of Lord Brahma. The first Manu was Shambhu Manu in this particular day of Lord Brahma. And then for each Manu, if you remember, there are 71 cycles of yugas. And when we say yug, yug means the Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Satyug, right? And then there is some empty space. So that is one yuga, which is around 4,032,000 years, right? And then like that, 71 cycles of yugas takes place in one Manu. Okay, so that's Shambhu. So now the Chakshush Manantra, who is actually the fifth Manu. Like there will be 14 Manus, right? So this is the fifth Manu. Chakshush Manu is the fifth Manu. In that, during that duration time, King Daksh again takes birth. Yeah, is what is being mentioned. Actually, let's read this. A lot of good quantitative information given here. Let's read this.
As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahar Yad Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yuga Sahasranantam Te O Ratra Vido Jana. The human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together, is the duration of Brahma's one day. And such also is the duration of his night. Brahma's one day consists of 1,000 cycles of the 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. In that one day, there are 14 Manvantaras. And out of these Manvantaras, this Kakshusha Manvantara is the 6th. The various Manus existing in one day of Lord Brahma are as follows. Swayambhuva, Swarokshisa, Uttama, Tamasa, Revata, Kakshusha, Vaivatvata, Vaivasyavata, Savarni, Dasavarni, Brahma Savarni, Dharma Savarni, Rudra Savarni, Deva Savarni, and Indra Savarni. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So very, very interesting fact given here, right? One is 1,000 ages taken together. Yeah. And also his night. Now what it says, Brahma's one day consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas. Yeah, it's 4 billion, 32 million years, right? One day. Which is equivalent to 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas. How is that? How come it's 1,000 cycles? Can you think about it? How many Manus are there in one day of Lord Brahma?
71 into 14, I guess, right?
14, right? 14 Manavatas. So there are
That's
14
994,
Manus.
around 1,000. Yeah.
And then 14 for each Manu, there are 71 yugas, right? Each Manu, during the duration of each Manu, there are 71 cycles of 4 yugas. So, if you take 71 cycles times 14 is around 1000 cycles of 4 yugas. Make sense? Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. And one yuga cycle is around 432 million or something, right? So if you multiply this by 1000, it comes to 4,032,000,000 years. See how the math adds up? Right? So it is not just some number here. It's all like all the numbers are aligned. Yeah. So you have Brahma's one day, which is equivalent to 4,032,000,000 years. There are 14 Manus in each Brahma's day, one day. Then 14 Manus, each Manu has 71 cycles of a yug. One yug is a cycle of 4 yugas like Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, which is around 4,032,000 years. And you know, we did that calculation also, if you remember. Like how long is the Kali Yuga? What is the duration of Kali Yuga? Remember?
1000 years.
432,000. Right? Remember? We kept talking about this. 432,000 is duration of Kali Yuga. Then there's a Dwapar Yuga before that, right? And the duration of Dwapar. So to each Yuga, if you add 432,000, that's the duration of the next yugas. So to 432, you add 432. So that's 864,000 is the duration of Dwapar Yuga. And then to 864,000, if you add 432,000, it's 1.2 some million years. That is the duration of Treta Yuga. Yeah. And to Treta Yuga, if you add 432,000, then it's around 1.6, 1.7 million years. That is the duration of Satyuga. Yeah. So you see Kali Yuga 432,000, Dwapar Yuga 864, Treta 1.2 million something, and then Satyuga 1.67 million something. And then there's some empty duration, there's some pralay after that. After all those four yugas, there's a small pralay, not like the huge pralay. Like that happens after one day of Brahma, not Brahma. So that total, if you total this up, it comes to around 4,032,000 years. If you total up the duration of all the 4 yugas, it comes to some 4,032,000 years, right? So that is one yug. So that's one yug. So if you multiply by 1000, that's 4,032,000,000 years. And that is one day of Lord Brahma. So that is why it's mentioning, right? It says that the duration of Brahma's one day is 1000 ages taken together. The 1000 ages, it's referring to 1000 cycles of the 4 yugas. Yeah, 1000 cycles of the 4 yugas. Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. Yeah, and one cycle is 4,032,000. So 1000 cycles, one day of Lord Brahma, and 14 Manus. Each Manu has 71 cycles of the 4 yugas. Yeah, do you remember that? All right. I think it's worth remembering because you see how the time duration is defined and it's all coming together. It's all matching. Like it's not something somebody has mentioned, you know. And the most important part, which is even there now, is that we are, you know, our current Manu is Vevasvat Manu. So we are in the day of Vevasvat Manu. So हम लोग मनु की संतान है, right? बोलते ना मनु की संतान है. The first Manu for this yuga is Vevasvat Manu. So it started with Swambhu Manu, and then we have all the other Manus, Svaro, Shisha, Uttam, Tamas, Ravyata, Chakshush. Yeah. So the Chakshush Manu was the sixth Manu, where we are reading like how King Daksh was born to Prachetas. So that we were reading about the sixth Manu cycle. Seventh Manu is the Vevasvat Manu. That's the current Manu. But what is interesting is even the upcoming Manus who will come, right, yet to come, their names are mentioned here. You see that? So Swarni, Dakshwarni, Brahma Swarni, Dharma Swarni, Rudra Swarni, Dev Swarni, and Indra Swarni, right? Those are the Manus are going to come in the next Yuga cycles. So, I mean, isn't it so interesting that next, if you divide 4 billion 32 million and the night also 8 billion 64 million, if you divide it by 2, so it's around 4 billion 32 million, right? What's going to happen in the next 4 billion 32 million years? The name of those Manus are also given here, right? Isn't that interesting? I mean, where will you find this knowledge? So, all right, coming back to this point. So we are reading that the Daksh, inspired by the Supreme Will, created all the desired living entity in the Chakshush Manvantar. So the whole universe, the generation, right, started also with King Daksh. And those are the name of the Manus. Maybe we should remember those name of the Manus, or at least the name after Vevasvat. So current Manu, we should at least definitely remember who is the current Manu, right? क्योंकि हम लोग सब वेवस्वत मनु की संतान है, right? Manu ki santana, the current Manu is Vevasvat. And then it seems it's easy to remember because Swarni, then Daksha Swarni, Brahma Swarni, Dharma Swarni, Rudra Swarni, Dev Swarni, and Indra Swarni. So it's all Swarni, right? So after Vevasvat, Manu is Swarni, then Daksha Swarni, then Brahma Swarni, then Dharma Swarni, then Rudra Swarni, Lord Shiva, and then Dev Swarni and Indra Swarni. I think it's easy to remember the remaining names, right? So those are the names of the upcoming Manus. So very nice. Let's continue reading this. Sachin?
Thus, there are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma. In a year, there are 5040 Manus. Brahma has to live for 100 years. Consequently, the total Manus appearing and disappearing during the life of one Brahma is 504,000. This is the calculation for one universe, and there are innumerable universes. All these Manus come and go simply by the breathing process of Mahavishnu, as stated in the Brahma Samhita. Yashayaka Nishavasita Kalam Athavalambya Jivanti Lom Vilaja Jagad And Natha Vishnur Mahan Sa Iha Yasya Kala Vishesho Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. The word Jagat Andanatha means Lord Brahma. There are innumerable Jagat Andanatha Brahmas, and thus we can calculate the many Manus. The present age is under the control of Vaivasvata Manu. Each Manu lives 4,032,320,000 years multiplied by 71. The present Manu has already lived for 4,032,320,000 years multiplied by 28. All these long lifespans are ultimately ended by the laws of material nature. The controversy of the Daksha Yajna took place in Swayambhuva Manvantara period. As a result, Daksha was punished by Lord Shiva, but by the virtue of his prayers to Lord Shiva, he became eligible to regain his former opulence. According to Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, Daksha underwent severe penances up to the 5th Manvantara. Thus, at the beginning of the 6th Manvantara, known as the Chakshusha Manvantara, Daksha regained his former opulence by the blessings of Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So this makes sense, yeah. The present age is under the control of Vivashvat Manu, right? As you know, this is the 7th Manu. Yeah, the 6th one Chakshush, 7th Manu is Vivashvat. Each Manu lives 4,322,000 years multiplied by 71. Yeah, because as we discussed, right, there are 71 cycles in each Manu's age, and each cycle is 4,320,000 years. Yeah, and we calculated that too, right? Because each cycle is 4,032,000. Sorry, yeah, isn't it right? So 432,000, and if you total it up, it's 4.3 million. Sorry, yeah. So this is 4,320,000. Correct, yeah, 4.3 million. Sorry. So 4,322,000, right? So 4.3 million total years, 4.32 million each cycle, and then 71 cycles in each Manu. Yeah, that results in 4,032,000,000. Yeah, and then again, interesting fact that present Manu, who is the Vivasvat Manu, has already lived this year's multiplied by 28. So we have already been through 28 cycles of yugas. So we are in the 29th cycle. Still 71 minus 28 number of cycles, yeah, yet to happen. And this yuga is Kali Yuga, right? We know that. So we are in the Kali Yuga right now. And do you remember? And how long is Kali Yuga duration? We just talked about that. How long is the Kali Yuga? Too much mathematics today.
320,000, right?
432,000 years is the
Right.
duration of Kali Yuga. Yeah, 432,000. And it is mentioned that for this Kali Yuga, only 5,000 years have passed so far. Yeah, we still have 427,000 years of this Kali Yuga to go. So a lot of things are yet to happen. Right? So, all right, good. I think we'll again remind this tomorrow, see what happens. But again, I think we missed this part. There are 5,000 Manu in a year, right? Sorry. Yeah, in one day of Lord Brahma. So there are 14 Manus in one day of Lord Brahma. Oh, in one day, 14. So in 1 year, there are 5,014 Manus. That 1 year is 1 year of Lord Brahma, not solar year, right? So in 1 year of Lord Brahma, there are 5,000 Manus, yeah? Because in 1 day, there are 14. So 14 times, I guess, whatever, 365, or whatever that number of year is, 5,000 Manus. And then Lord Brahma has to live for 100 years of Lord Brahma's years, not our this thing. So there are 504,000 Manus appearing and disappearing during life of one Brahma. Yeah. All right, good. Let's move on. But interesting facts, isn't it? So let's do the next shloka. Rajat.
यो जायमानः सर्वेषां तेजस्ते जतिस्वनां रुचा स्वयोपादत दाक्ष्याच्च कर्मणा दक्षं ब्रुवन् तं प्रजासगर मनादिर्भिश्च च युजे अन्यासं स वै सर्वप्रजापतीन्. After being born, Daksh, by the super excellence of his bodily lustre, covered all other bodily opulence. Because he was very expert in performing fruitive activities, he was called by the name Daksh, meaning the very expert. Lord Brahma therefore engaged Daksh in his work of generating living entities and maintaining them. In due course of time, Daksh also engaged other Prajapatis, progenitors, in the process of generation and maintenance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah, during the Chakshush Manu counter. So it says Daksh became almost as powerful as Lord Brahma. Consequently, Lord Brahma engaged him in generating population. Daksh was very influential and opulent. In his own turn, Daksh engaged other Prajapatis headed by Marichi Rishi. Right? In this way, the population of the universe increased during that Manu cycle. So, thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the fourth canto, 30th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Activities of the Prachetas. Yeah, so that's what we are reading. I think there's one more chapter remaining. Follow Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai. And there's one more chapter remaining about the Prachetas and Narad Muni conversation, right? As we see, Narad Muni instructs the Prachetas, and that's the last chapter in Canto 4. Yeah. So next week we'll probably complete the chapter, the Canto 4. That'll be really nice. Yeah. So very nice. I think a lot of good quantitative facts today. And as we know, I think all those numbers are good, but the most important part is the devotional service, right? That's what we have been reading again and again. Chanting, kirtan, devotional service, reading Srimad Bhagavatam is what can get us out of this cycle, or at least get onto the right direction, right path. Yeah. So we are going to hear kirtan for around 5 to 7 minutes. Yeah, today. And then have a nice weekend. We will meet again. So this is again the kirtan in Mayapur, sung by Madhurika Mataji. Very nice, beautiful voice singing. Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna. Nice kirtan, right?
Yes.
Was part of the Mayapur around February time frame, this February. So beautiful kirtan. Right, cool. So enjoy your long weekend now. I'll see you back on Monday, 10 p.m. All right. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.